morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Welcome, welcome to this episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Today, Wednesday, the 6th day, I think it is, the 6th day of September 2023. Welcome one and all, welcome one and all. Share the life. We are ready to go. My colleague, Mr. Conway CC, is already in the studio. And we are raring and ready to go. You know, we have good information, credible information, much needed information to pass to you this morning. So share the live and let people know that we're here. You know, again, I must compliment my students. Some of them were in the classroom since last evening. Since last evening, students were in the classroom. And this morning, oh man, they poured in. I think the number of students we had in the classroom or in the schoolyard before class commenced, it was a record number. This morning. So welcome to one and all. And you know, as I have indicated before, we encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel so that whenever something is posted, because we have been posting short clips now, whenever those clips are posted, you will get a notification. And also, I want to encourage you to like the Speaking Out page on Facebook. To like that thing, you subscribe to the YouTube channel, but you just like the Facebook page. Man, the numbers have been increasing wonderfully, not wonderfully. You know, the last 2 weeks, we did some short clips, and I made a little check. Those short clips within the past week or so has had more than 50,000 views. More than 50,000 views those clips have had. So we will continue to do that because we recognize that that is what people want. You have the old program, so if you have the live, you can sit on the live and you can watch the live. You can always go on YouTube and see the old ones and to see the recent one as well. But now we are doing short clips with specific, particular subjects. We just did two with the carnage on the road, a part 1 and a part 2. So you can look at that. They're about 18, 19 minutes each. So if you don't have the time to look at the entire program, you can look at those short clips. And yes, we are going great. And you know, like everything else, we have these clips and they're sending out the trolls. They come and they say all manner of things. Well, I have had fun. I have been having fun just blocking some of them. And let me understand this. We are not against criticism. You're going to come, you're going to criticize. That is okay. But when you come and you are going to make allegations, and you're going to start using expletives and so on, this is not a program for that. This is not a program. So I have been enjoying blocking people, those jagabats, those amphibians over the week, right? Up to this morning, a man on Facebook, he's looking at Facebook and he's telling me that my mouth stink and all this other thing. So why do you want to have people like those on the program? Block you go. One man said that I am bitter because I was kicked out of the force some years ago. I just block him because people who know and people who are intelligent can just go on social and Google and you will see the excellent farewell parade I had and all the accolades that were showered on me. So I am bothered with them. I just gonna block them and keep them out. More and more of them will come. And as they come, I will take pleasure in blocking them. And you know, some of them come on and the usual comments, hungry belly black man, and all kind of thing. They're bringing politics into the thing. So I am going to be dealing with them, man. I'm going to block in with them. Because, you know, some people say, why you don't report them to the ERC? To do what? The ERC, you report them to the ERC. What do you think will happen? I'm not going to waste my time and do that. I have a better remedy. Just block them from the feed. And that is what. They're going to come again. They're going to get some fake profile. And they're going to come again. I'll block them again. Right? Because you know them, many of them come, they don't have any picture. And when you check the thing, I'm investigate, when you investigate, you can see it's a fake profile. So I'm going to deal with them. So welcome. You know, we always say this is the day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Today is a very special day for my co-accused, my co-host, CC. Today he is celebrating his birthday. And I want to take this opportunity to wish my dear friend, my colleague, my co-accused CC, a very, very happy birthday and hope that he lives to see many, many, many more with health, strength, and prosperity. So, CC, let me bring you in briefly just to wish you happy birthday. A lot of people, and then a lot of people have been wishing you happy birthday. But let me bring you in, wish you happy birthday, get your response, and then we'll move on. Happy birthday, my brother. Happy birthday to you.
Thank you, Paul. It's good to be in the land of the living, and God has spared my life 70. Thanks to my family, my wife, my children, my grandchildren, my friends, especially you and others. And I've been getting calls from since the stroke of midnight, and I think they will continue. And let me say thanks to all those who have called and will call later on.
Yeah. Happy 70th, man. Happy 70th. Wonderful, wonderful. I'm right behind you. I am right behind you, and we're gonna be celebrating yours and mine. Yours first and mine. So once again, happy birthday, and I see the greetings are pouring. But let me
Thanks.
continue, and then I'll bring you back in a little later. As we are celebrating birthdays, let me also take this opportunity to let me see. I have some other people that I want to shout out birthday to. Belated birthday greetings I want to send to Ronald Stewart, former traffic chief, the man we used to call Bamboo. Bamboo recently celebrated his birthday. I know Bamboo is a twin, so he and his brother celebrated their birthday recently. So happy birthday to Ronald Stewart. I noted there Senior Superintendent Philip Azor also recently celebrated a birthday. Retired Senior Superintendent Evan Graham, Lado. I know Lado is going to be on the program. You don't miss it. Belated birthday greetings to you, Lado. I have here two retired Deputy Superintendent Claiborne Johnson. We used to call him Chubby, short man from TSU. He too had a birthday recently. A man who's on the program right now celebrated a birthday recently. Brower, Michael Brower, 14126. He's in one of the islands. Happy belated birthday to you. A squad mate of mine also, 9500 Clarkey. Clarkey, my squad mate Clarkey, also celebrated a birthday recently. And this morning, when I signed in and I look, I see one of our followers. She's on now, Joan Robertson. Joan Robertson said that she celebrated her 70th birthday yesterday. So happy birthday, happy belated birthday to all of you folks. Happy birthday, happy belated birthday. But let me do the roll call quickly because, as I've said, we had so many persons in the schoolyard. The roll call is going to take some time this morning. But as we have come to agree, it is important. The roll call is important. And when we went live, when we programmed the thing this morning, as I've said since last night, the first man in the schoolyard was Derek. Derek slept in the schoolyard last night. Then you have the consumer judge. He wasn't here for a few weeks. He's very much here early since last night at 11:19. He checked in. Derek checked in at 10:54 last night. Hope mosquitoes didn't bite y'all because you get dengue going around now. So we hope you had protection. Then Daniel was here last night again. We had Vibert, regular. CC Squaddy was here last night. And then the first man this morning was Wayne from the UK. He came in at 2:26. Then Raul came in after that at 3:27. Cecile came in next at 3:43. Kenneth, Patricia, Francis, Carlton came in. Machu was in. Tessa was so anxious that Tessa, I think, what was yesterday, Tuesday, Tessa was trying to find out what happened to the program. If there's no program, then she caught herself and said, oh God, it's Tuesday, not Wednesday. Yeah. Then we had Colin from Queens, Patricia. Patricia was here. Sean, a regular former ex-sergeant. Sean is here early this morning, 5:36. John was here early too, 5:39. Anthony came in. Pito from Queens was here. Then we had Everett from Texas. Man from Texas, in Texas, everything is real big. Texas. Then we had, who else came in? We had Bart came in here. And we had a comment from Pito. Pito said, critic using a lot of expletives. That is them. They can do, they got their own style. I mean, we're not going there. And this is Joan. She made a comment. She said yesterday was her birthday. Happy birthday. Related to you, Joan. Then Floyd was here. Edward came in. Vernon. Jacko, good to see you back in the States. Jacko, you left Corviton, you're now back in Georgia. Felicia was here. Yvonne, Sydney, Winston, Como was very much here as is usual. Then we had another Winston here. Winston is from California. We had Colin Allen is here in class 6:55. Brian, John Knight, very early in the morning. John will miss it. Earl was here. Charlene, welcome, welcome. Charlene, Jason, Anthony, what is class? Leon came in 10025, always here. Orin came in. Orin says number was 12758. Barbara B came in. Paul from Canada, my shooting partner. Pamela, next regular. Then we had Kurt. Then we had Ballard. Ballard, I have to always thank you, Mark. You made this suggestion to me about the short clips, and you see the thing is as caught on, and it is greatly appreciated by the viewers. 50,000 views in just over a week, so you can imagine. And then Jakey, it was nice seeing you the other day, man. Nice seeing you, Jakey. Always a pleasure. Lucius was here. Brower, told you he's here. And he celebrated a birthday recently. So he celebrated a birthday. He's from British Virgin Islands, you see. Princess Earl in class. Carlisle in class. Mandela. Hazel. John. Maureen. Then we had Queenie, West Coast Barbies. Leslie, welcome again, Leslie. I have to talk something about the cadet scheme, Leslie. I'm going to talk something a little this morning about it. So listen. Maureen, Duhan, Sandra, my squaddy Carl from he's from Arizona. Heather was here early. Francis, and Francis made a statement this morning. Francis said, they said that Ramana is the best available candidate for commander. He made another statement too about the same thing. Then we had speaking truth to power, Squaddy Taylor from Canada, Kevin, or Keelan. Then Francis is saying again, he said, if Ramana is considered the best available, I shudder to think of those regarded among the worst, as being among the worst. Dennis was here, Troy, Stean, Ulrich, Pauline, Vibert, Isbank, Keith, Maury, Karen, another regular, Isabella, and Ulrich said he came back to say that he enjoyed the cricket last night. We're going to talk about that a little while. Rastaman was here as well. Clay came in. You see a lot of told you record number this morning, the original black man. Then we had Doreen, my squad mate. And then Abdul, I remember you, Dennis. I remember you very well. You and your partner, man. Your partner, what your partner? Ross? Yes, I remember. Chilo was here. Peter came back. And then Gordon for all the way from Canada. Old Police, 6659. Then you had TK. Welcome, TK. Then you had Oren from the UK. He said he was playing dominoes just before he come to class. So hope you learned the game by now. You had a good teacher in me, so hope you learned. Monica was here. Denise, the man, Bangalang, Freud, Bangalang was here. Bonita, 16308, ex-sergeant. Then you see Rohan, always present. Courtney, Evelyn, Shemlin, Chris K, Magnell, DJ Ice Rider, Samuel, Kevin, Monica. You see, I tell you all, then Dudley, the last man to come in before we think. And then we went live on Raul was the first man, Melinda, and they kept coming in. So yes. Well, let me say as the numbers are fantastic already, and I know within the next hour or so we're gonna have many more persons coming in. As Ulrich pointed out, he enjoyed the cricket, so CPL is ongoing. Those are Warriors, those Warrior fans. I know that you're celebrating. You had a fantastic victory last night. But I'm watching cricket. I like cricket, so I am watching cricket and to make sure there's good cricket. So I enjoy the rack attack the other night when Rakim smoked that 100. I enjoyed that immensely. And any cricket follower, regardless if you are on the losing end, you should enjoy that rock attack. And the best part of the rock attack was the bad drop. Oh man, Rakim in style, the bad drop. So he did that. Now let me say, as you said, this is the day that the Lord has made. We got to rejoice and be glad in it. We have to celebrate being in the land of the living. I want to take this opportunity to wish my Trinidadian colleagues, followers, a belated independence and anniversary greetings. Trinidad reached the 64th independence, 64th year on the 31st of August, recently 31st of August, and this is the first program since then. So I want to wish them all the best on their independence anniversary. And now the sad news, we have the passing of Cecil Skip Roberts, retired Deputy Commissioner, Crime Chief, Deputy Commissioner, Law Enforcement, the first Deputy Commissioner, Law Enforcement. And let me say this without any fear of contradiction. In my time, my experience, Skip Roberts is the best Deputy Commissioner, Crime or Deputy Commissioner, Law Enforcement that the force has ever had. That is my opinion. And not only because of his knowledge of the work, but he was very approachable. You could have approached Skip with anything and get good advice. I remember once when I came back from Namibia, I wanted some advice on investment. And I felt comfortable sitting down with Skip Roberts at CAD headquarters, and he gave me some sound advice. I had a little change, the money they paid us, and I never regretted the moment. I followed his advice, and I never invested in a few heads of cattle, and I never, ever regretted that advice. So Skip passed away, and the details here, let me tell you. Now Skip, he was born on January 11th, 1937, and he died September 1, 2023 in Georgia. And they say, according to his family, a memorial service will be held on September 9th between the hours of 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. in Georgia. I'll post the information because they did send, received something about a Zoom link, but I was trying to get the full details. There was the login information, but I don't think there was the passcode or password. It wasn't the password. So I'm trying to get that. And once I get that, I'll post it. And, Skip Roberts, and let me say this. He and two others created history in the Guyana Police Force. In 1958, they became, on the 1st of August 1958, Skip Roberts, Norman McLean, and Cecil Glasgow became the first cadet officers in the force. From QC, they were recruited into the force as cadet officers. And then, in those days, the external cadet, as they call them, had to go through some rigorous training, overseas training, Hendon Staff College in the UK, and all those places to qualify them. Not what we have now, which I'll deal with on another program, where people are sent on programs, and there's no follow-up and no proper training. But in those days, they had to go through that rigorous training. Can't remember, they were direct intake. Since Now McLean, that's the order, Now McLean, Cecil Skip Roberts, and Cecil Glasgow, 1st of August, 1958. And then they were followed, just for information, in 1961 by John Lashley, Larry Lewis, and Lloyd Houston. They followed in 1961. And then in 1964, they had Oab and I think Lloyd, well, I said Watson before, but he came in 64, Oab. And then, then for information, as we're talking about cadet, those were external cadets. In other words, they came from outside straight into the force. And then you had the people who were in the force who became cadet officers, 3. The first 3 were Lloyd Barker, Balam Ragabir, and James Mentor. They were the first 3. And Skip, coming back to Skip was an all-rounder. He played rugby. He played hockey, I think, at the national level. And he was a very good cricketer. I was fortunate in his latter days in the force, in his older days as a young officer. I played alongside Skip in the police officers team. And a wonderful, wonderful soul. Very approachable. And the CID in those days was very respected because he had some real professional people there. People like Henry Chester, Varnell Gentle, Thomas Bizet. Michael Marks, who is reputed to be one of the best homicide investigators Guyana has ever had. All of those persons were there with him. He built a cadre of professional CID investigators, professional, not politicians and people who doing all sort of nonsense and tell themselves they can violate the rights of citizens with impunity. No, 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 no. So I want to take this opportunity to express condolences to the relatives, Sammy and the other relatives of Skip on his passing, and to say, may he rest in peace and rise in glory. I know CC would want to say something too, but before I bring him in to say something about Skip, I want to also announce the death of a squad mate, 9554, Carl Sutton. Yeah, squaddies who are on the line here on the live. I know that Carl Hartman is here, Doreen is here, Lois is here, and others. Yeah, our squad mate, 9554 Sutton, passed away recently. I saw the posting yesterday on social media, and I confirmed that he passed. And only not so long ago we spoke, because when I said Carl Sutton, he turned to me. He said on the thing, he said, "Yeah, man, it's me." Because I had given him a false name when we were in training school. He used to call him Zorg. He said, "Yeah, Paul, it's me, Zorg." And we had a little chat and so on. So Carl passed away recently. So, when he left, he was a detective. He was a detective West Demerara. People reminded me that he spent some time at Leonora and elsewhere. And in recent times, he was very active in the community policing management in Berbice. I think they said he was a public relation officer of the community policing group. So he passed away recently. We also had the passing of a renowned journalist, Godfrey Ray. I saw Godfrey pass away recently in the USA. So condolences to the relatives and friends of all those persons. And to give you an update, we did announce the passing of woman senior superintendent Lynette Carter. We have some information here to share with you that our wake will be Thursday, that's tomorrow, at 1312 Block X, Diamond. Funeral on Friday, viewing at the Memorial Gardens from 12:30 to 1:30, followed by church service at the Northeast of Penitence Elim Pentecostal Church from 2, then back to the Memorial Gardens for cremation. So again, condolences to all the relatives and friends. Let me bring in CC at this stage. CC, welcome back. I'm sure you'd want to pay some tribute to Skip. Go ahead, please.
Yes, Paul, and I know Skip very well. I looked up to Smith, and without any doubt, Smith Roberts, Skip Roberts, set the gold standards for criminal investigation at both CID headquarters and in the divisions. A couple of persons came very close to him, like Alvin Smith, retired deputy commissioner, Winston Felix, commissioner, Leon Trim, deputy commissioner. But right now, the gold standard has melted down to bronze. Now, let me tell you two issues or two interactions I had with Skip Roberts. I remember he declared open a procedural course at a police training school, and he talked about Dr. Peter Principal. He just mentioned it in passing. I was a young assistant superintendent then, and I was thirsty for knowledge both academically and professionally. So at the closing ceremony, I tackled him. He said, "Come with me." And we walked across to CID headquarters, went to his office, and he pulled his drawer and pulled out some documents that dealing with Peter Principal. The first time I really heard about it. And he told me that Peter Principal is the idea that people will be promoted up to the point where they are no longer qualified, leaving a company full of incompetent employees. And he made a very profound statement. He said that he hoped that the time will not come in the Guyana Police Force when the commissioner and the Police Service Commission will promote incompetence. And Skip is dead, but his words come to pass because right now, both the commissioner and the Police Service Commission are promoting incompetence. And there was another encounter I had with him. I wouldn't say encounter, another engagement I had with him where there was allegation against a senior police officers. And I was wrong. Baron Rugbear, who was the commissioner of police, called Skip and tell him to investigate. He wanted a report in the matter. So my name was mentioned. I wrote a statement, and then when Skip Roberts got the report, he sent for me. I went to his office, and he said, "You wrote a good statement," and I smiled. But then he said, "But you're very evasive. There are some missing links." And I got serious because I know when this Skip was a man of integrity, and when police tell you about missing links, they want you to lie or they want you to manufacture evidence. So he said you have to clear up these missing links. He said, I don't want you to lie. I don't want you to lie. You will say exactly what happened because your statement is very evasive. So I said, man, sorry, let me go back to office and register. He said, no, 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 no. Stay right in his office, sit down in his desk and feel like a deputy commissioner and write your statement. So he gave me a piece of paper and I wrote the statement. He read it and he said, okay. But the point I want to make is that Smith received the report. And many people, when they receive report, they forward it to somebody for advice or for information. But he didn't only look at the report. He went through all the statements, I understand, meticulously. And he saw gaps in the statement and he wanted to clear up. Not like people now, like conveyor belt, they're sending for advice, they're sending up and sending down. So he went through the statements and I learned from that. And he told me that the ingredients of the crime must be contained in the statements. That's why you read all the statements. And later on, as I became an officer, a senior officer, and had cause to deal with files, I make sure that I don't only read the report, but I look at the statements to see whether the ingredients are there. And that is how I remember Skip Roberts, and I remember Dr. Peter Principle and how you handle reports when they come to you.
Yeah, thanks for that. And I remember too that Skip was one of the early officers pursuing a degree at the University of Guyana. I think he got a degree in English. Um, you talk about the reading. I recall I was a young sergeant, I think, I had an encounter with Skip, an engagement, as you would say, and Skip wanted to know if I read novels. So I said, yes, I love novels. He put his arm around the desk and he introduced me to Robert Ludlum. The Gemini Contender is the first Ludlum book that I read. And I read all the Ludlum books after them, but Skip is the man who introduced me to Robert Ludlum. I remember that so well, so well. And you know, I even remember his farewell when he had his farewell at the Police Sports Club and GT Music Machine. Fantastic function we had there and all the accolades that were expressed. But Skip will go down in the history of the Ghana Police Force, not as only one of the first external cadets, but as you say, as a very, very outstanding police officer, as a very outstanding head of the CID. And again, people, you know, they don't do research. As I said earlier, Skip was the first Deputy Commissioner Law Enforcement. Before that, you had Assistant Commissioner Crime. That was the designation. ACLE, ACC, Assistant Commissioner Crime. Donald Haynes, I think when I joined in 74, 73, 74, to be Donald. And I heard before that people like Peter Britton, I never met them and all this type of thing. But Skip was just outstanding. He was just outstanding as a police officer. Look, when you had functions that the police officers miss, and Skip came there and we interacted, you know, you always wanted to get into the group where Skip was because you got these nuggets of information from him, and you could have asked him any question in relation to policing, and he's going to point you in the right direction, right? So Skip was just outstanding. And I would hope that the records will reflect the contribution Skip has made to the police force and to Guyana. I hope that the records reflect. We have noted in recent times people trying to rewrite history, right? They're trying to do their own thing. But history is there, the facts are there. And as we have said, facts are stubborn thing, right? So let's understand that. As somebody is saying here, with Michael Marks and those people, Henry Chester, Vernon Gentle, Thomas Bizet, and Smith, Vibert Smith, who is on this program regularly, Eric Obord, and all of those people, some younger people like Mickey D'Souza, Gordon Gilhouse, and all of those people. But when you get crime in the tongue, um, people, they were solved. I remember you had a squaddy, CC, who was there at the same time. McCulloch, they used to call him Sobers. McCulloch was a man in tongue. McCulloch would see thief men. He know thief men very well because he grew up in tongue. I'll tell them, say, look, go to the police station. We want you there. And you better ensure that by the time Mark turned up, they were there. Those policemen were so respected. Padmore and all of those persons, who's Padmore is normally in the life. But you just had some outstanding policemen with Skip. He trained them and he caused them to have the necessary knowledge, not only locally but overseas training, and they were just outstanding. And our next subject, our next time we'll have to address the deterioration of the CID. And I think the deterioration coincided with Skip retiring. You had other people there, as you said, Alvin Smith, outstanding detective, Winston Felix, another outstanding person, Leon Trim. Those people were there, very good. But no one can doubt the impact that Skip had on the police force and the CID in particular. So he has gone to his maker. May he rest in peace. Well, let me move on. Let's move on. I noted, CC, and I said in the program, in the announcement to the program this morning, that we're going to deal with this letter or an article in Chronicle where the Attorney General is alleged to have made a lot of statements. We're going to deal with that shortly. But before we go into that, I want to talk about this recent murders, two in particular. The one at Rosal, where the woman, Arokiam, and her son were killed. Police, I think, arrested 5 persons. That is the release that said they arrested 5 persons. We learned later that all 5 of those persons were released. And then, I think yesterday or sometime after that again, we heard that 2 of those who were released were rearrested. But what alarms me a lot, and people have called me and they said, former senior police officer and so on, say, but how can the police issue the names and information of persons who are arrested? Is that correct? They asked me the question. So I said, well, no, that is not the protocol. The protocol is, and this protocol, the press protocol that I'm referring to here now, was developed with the assistance of consultants from the United Kingdom and the Guyana Press Association. And it was clear that when you arrest persons as suspects, you're not going to release the names or any other information until or unless they are charged. You give information when persons are charged, the name and that type of thing, occupation, address. But to arrest a person, and I don't even know if they have proper grounds of arresting these persons. Clearly, the fact that you arrest 5 and have to release them suggests to me that you might not have had proper grounds to arrest, but you arrest them. And you're putting their names out there, people who are arrested, tarnishing the image of those persons who are arrested. The same thing, Lusignan, you got to release that a man was found dead at Lusignan Golf Club. Lusignan Golf Club yard found dead with hands bound, 6 arrested. And the names of the people are there in the media. How can you do that? How can you do that? You're arresting people, you're putting the name out there. What happens when they're not charged? What happens when you don't have information for charge? The question is, why were they arrested in the forest? What type of information or intelligence you would have developed? You just pick up a man because he was a neighbor. You pick up the man because he was a partner. No, that is not the way it should be done. They come on this program and they troll and they say all kind of thing. But that is not the way. As I say again, a forced media policy was developed some years ago. That had the input of consultants from the United Kingdom and the Guyana Press Association, and they agree that you're not to release information on persons who are arrested. If the persons are charged, there's a different thing. The only time, if I remember correctly, that you're going to release information on a person who's not arrested is if you have made effort and then you have to get a wanted bulletin. So then the information is contained in the wanted bulletin that those persons, the person is wanted, and not in the manner that these wanted bulletins are done now, where you're not even making efforts to contact these persons and you issue wanted bulletin. No, that is not the policy. That is not the policy. But I know CC will want to well, yeah, Sean is saying the right thing. They jump and they make arrests to put it in the media, so the media people get the feeling that yes, something is being done in respect of this murder. But that is not the case. You got to do your investigation and let your investigation lead you to suspects. So when you arrest a person, you have enough suspicion, you have enough grounds to that arrest. Not just arrest to satisfy public opinion, because that seems to be what is happening now. CC, I'm sure you would want to have a say. Let me bring you in. What are your views on this arrest and just releasing people's name just like that? Let me hear you.
Sure, Paul, and you put it in the right context. I recall the British consultant, I think he was a former police officer in the UK, senior officer, and then he went into communication consultant. He came to Guyana, program sponsored by the British. 2 days we had sessions at the Pegasus. I was there, you were there. I recall my good friend Ivla Whitaker. I think that's when he was the PRO, then we were there. And we had discussions not only among ourselves as senior police officers, but members of the press were invited, and they fully participated in the in the program. And coming out of the program, they design and develop media a media policy. And among the things that we had there is that you will not disclose the names of the persons who are under arrest at station. But lo and behold, I see they put in the names, they put in the address, and not only the names, they put in the call name. Sometimes if you go to the village and you call ask for a man by his full name, you might know him by that. I recall the other man at number 40 Village West Coast Borbies. His name was Bob Tapin. But if you go to West Coast Borbies and ask for Bob Tapin, you won't be able to locate him. But they used to call him Kumbi Cat. But if you're going to ask for Kumbi Cat, you'll find him. So they put in the people call names so they could be easily identified. And then what happened? You send them away. You don't charge them. So a stain left on them, a psychological stain. People say, hey, the police he hold you for murder. He was a murder suspect, and a whole set of things there. And also apart from that, in those cases, they are arrested persons who discover the crime. A man turned up and looked for the woman, and he saw the bodies there. He ended up in the lockups. So you find out or what been happening of people discover crime. People knew what them, but they ain't getting to no police station, because if you go and report to the police, you end up in the lockups. And most time they give you a 72. And then later on, you turn the star witness and they want you to go and give evidence, and you're not going to go. So the thing is all wrong, wrong, wrong. Releasing person's name who you arrest. And we don't even know if those arrests were lawful. And I always like to go back to the law. The Police Act, Chapter 1601, Paul, you had a clip on it, but it's good to repeat it. Some people say we must repeat it 100 times, repeat the same thing 100 times. And here where they say powers to arrest without warrant, Section 16.1 of the Police Act, Chapter 1601, it said, it shall be lawful for any member of the force to arrest without a warrant. A, any person who commits in his view an offense punishable either upon indictment or upon summary conviction. Or B, any person whom any other person charges with having committed a felony or misdemeanor. Or C, any person who any person, one, suspected of having committed an felony or misdemeanor. Or two, charges with having committed an offense punishable on summary conviction if such person is willing to accompany a member of the force affecting the arrest to the police station to enter their recognizance to prosecute such charge. D. Any person who such members of the force find disturbing the public peace, or any person whom such whom he has good cause to suspect of having committed or being about to commit any felony, misdemeanor, or breach of the peace, or any person whom he finds between the hours 8 o'clock in the evening and 5 o'clock in the morning, lying or lurching in a highway, yard, or other place, and not able to give a satisfactory account of himself. And that's where the police power lies. Perhaps the present commander C division doesn't know that. Ramando, remember, he arrested a woman, a female lawyer, because she told her client to remove his constitutional right to remain silent. And I remember he arrested you too, or he arrested you at the LA court step because you're going to answer to a summons that he himself filed in the court. So the thing is that they're arresting people willy-nilly. And when they arrest them now, and more so for a serious offense, a stain on them, a psychological stain that they got to live with for the rest of their life. Sometimes you're hustling one and hustling a woman, and somebody can say, don't worry, the police is only for murder. And out goes your little intended relationship. So they need to look at where the powers of arrest and don't arrest people willy-nilly.
Well said. You have to have sufficient cause. It's not just go and arrest people like that. I know the problem is that what you have is that people are arrested a lot of time, poor people, because they don't go and do that to the people who have resources. Because they're going to take them to court. They're going to sue them for wrongful arrests and all that, breach of the constitutional rights. So they pick on the poor people who have the resources to take legal action, but it is wrong. And if you're talking about improving your image, you can imagine that what that will do to you. And you know, somebody pointed out here a while ago that they're not only giving the names, they're publishing people photograph. You're arresting people and you're publishing the photograph, and then you have to release them. You have to release them. And the Police Act speaks about that. If you bring people in, if you lawfully arrest, you take fingerprint, you take photograph. Once they are released, the Police Act addresses what should be done to the photograph and the fingerprints. You have to destroy or give them, destroy. You can't keep them in the record. And you know, you made a very good point, because I can tell you a story that related to me some years ago. A friend of mine was going into the farm, and he said on the way to the farm, he went to relieve himself in a set of bush. And when he got there, he saw a man lying there. The man appeared to be dead, right? Then he said a lot of things crossed his mind. He wanted to go to the police station to make the report, but he called me Uncle Paul. He said, Uncle Paul, I can tell you I did not go to the police station because I was afraid that if I had gone to the police station and reported that that body was there, they're going to hold me, they're going to arrest me the next time. No, I'm in custody for 72 hours. So I just went away, my merry way to my farm. And well, you suspect somebody else might have reported it. You don't know what happened to them. But there's some of the impact that you're going to have. So you can't just go pick up people just like that. 5 persons arrested, you release. Then you rearrest 2, which clearly shows that you did not do sufficient work when you made the first arrest. And then the Lusignan thing again, 6 persons arrested, and the picture, and well, I'm not sure the pictures of the Lusignan people. Yeah, I think the pictures are there. But you should not do that. Follow that policy. And I remember again, this media release, the media protocol that we developed. I remember one of the men, John Beverly, was one of the consultants. I think so the other one was Collins or something like that. I remember them very well, sat down with the Guyana Press Association and senior police officers, including people at public relations. I was part of the group because I had done, when I was at the FBI Academy and the Police Staff College, I did training in media relationship and so on. So I was part of the group. But we sat down and we revised that whole thing, because prior to then, only a limited number of persons were allowed to interact with the media. The crime chief, the public relations officer, the commissioner, the traffic chief, I think it's about 4 or 5. Even the commanders were not allowed to give information. We said that is wrong. And we revised the policy where commanders, senior detectives, senior policemen at the scene of a crime can give information, but then they have to be trained to say what the information they want to give. They were not to speculate and all of that, just give the mere facts, and that was it. But all of these things now seems to have gone through the window. They have a corporate propaganda unit, as I call it, writing all kind of things. They write in all kind of things, and they don't see the damage that is causing to the image of the organization. They believe that when we come on this program and we highlight these things, that is what is damaging the image of the organization. What is their action? The action of the senior ones there, and the action of people right down, it trickles down. Because as we have said repeatedly, it's about leadership at the various levels. You have to have proper leadership. If you don't have leadership, then you're not going to be able to pull the organization together. And that is what we reflected in Skip. Skip provided leadership to the CID. Leadership to the CID. So that is why they could have performed so well in those days. But let me move on to the main subject this morning. As I've said, the Attorney General, Anil, well, the correct name is Mohabir Anil Nandalal, SC, MP, is alleged to have made some statements on his Facebook page. And last Saturday, the Chronicle, or I should say the Chronicle newspaper, carried an article by the staff reporter, that is Saturday the 2nd. And they said the Attorney General exposes APNU's constitutional atrocity. That is the caption, Saturday paper. And let me read some excerpts, and then I'm going to respond to the Attorney General. Mind you, I'm saying this is what he is quoted in the Chronicle government paper as saying. So let me tell you what he says. And I say again, Saturday, September the 2nd, 2023, that's said by the staff reporter. Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs Anil Nandalal SC has raised serious concerns about what he calls constitutional atrocity related to the appointment of former Police Commissioner acting Nigel Appy by the then APNU AFC government. Nandalal took to Facebook on Friday, highlighting what he perceives as a glaring violation of the country's constitution by the opposition, while a partnership of national unity and the Alliance for Change coalition, APNU AFC, was in government. They quote him further saying he accused the coalition of posturing as champions of constitutionality and the rule of law, while turning a blind eye to what he considers a severe breach of the Constitution. He goes on. Nandalal revelation follows questions from the opposition over the extension of Clifton Ikin's tenure as acting Commissioner of Police by President Dr. Irfan Ali. Nada Police says in his Facebook post, Nandalal wrote, and I quote here, yet the same APNU AFC continues to masquerade as champions of constitutionality and the rule of law. Paul Slow and Clinton Conway write excessively in the newspapers on legal issues concerning the police force. But to date, they have not uttered a word about this horrible constitutional atrocity. Nandalal remarks revolve around the appointment of Appy to act in the office of Commissioner of Police on July 30th, 2020, by the then permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Public Security following the retirement of Commissioner of Police Leslie James. Goes on to say, at the time of Appy's appointment, Bharat Jagdeo held the position of leader of the opposition, while Slow served as chairman of the Police Service Commission. Let me get the last part. Then he says here, with the evidence of the appointment, they said the appoint letter. That is what they say. They said with the evidence of the appoint letter, Nandalal exposed a glaring inconsistency in the APNU plus APAFC purported commitment to upholding constitutionality and the rule of law. Then he said, notably, Slow and Conway, who are renowned for their vocal stance on legal matters concerning the police, have remained conspicuously silent on this issue, he said. That is what part of this article. Now, let me roll up my sleeves and respond to what they claim with the necessary evidence. Because, we don't come here and just talk. I'm going to roll up my sleeve and I'm going to respond with the necessary evidence. Now, I said the article, I tell you what the article, so I said, let me start off. I made some notes. Let me start off by saying, I hold no brief for the APNU plus AFC. However, I am mentioned by name in the article, so I feel compelled to respond. The statement attributed to the Attorney General are clearly misleading. What do I read is clearly misleading. The person who brought it to my attention, as I said, I don't read Chronicle. So I was here and somebody called me and brought this thing to my attention. The person who brought it to my attention asked me if the AG was drunk when those statements were made. I had to remind the person that such statements from the AG should not surprise anyone because that is the same person who the Caribbean Court of Justice accused of bringing that institution into disrepute. Remember, Caribbean Court of Justice said the Attorney General of Guyana they accused him of bringing the Caribbean Court of Justice into disrepute. So when you make these things, you should not be surprised. But the facts got to be revealed. And I have said before, they still operate on this media monopoly, this communist type media monopoly. So they come out, use NCN and Chronicle, they make all this other statement, because in the past, you would not have had an avenue to respond. But thank the Lord for Facebook and YouTube and all of these things, we can respond and set the record straight as I am doing now. Now, let me go on to say. It appears as though I live in the other island land. He never misses his opportunity to mention Slow and sometimes Conway. Like I live in this smart head. Rent-free. But I can tell you it's not a nice place to be. This little abode is infested with all kind of rodents and insects and all kind of unpleasant things. But you like to call Slow names, so Slow gonna address it. Let me address what some of these issues are. Let me deal with the first point. I said the claim that Api was appointed as Commissioner of Police, acting Commissioner of Police, is palpably false. That is false. And Nigel Api was never ever appointed as the acting Commissioner of Police. And I'll show you the evidence in a short way. The same evidence that he's trying to show. Never. Let me make the point. Api was never appointed to act as Commissioner of Police. As the next senior rank, when Commissioner James proceeded on retirement leave on the 31st of July 2020, Api was made to perform the functions of the Commissioner of Police. Now, there's a big difference between performing the functions of Commissioner of Police and acting Commissioner of Police. Big difference. And let me explain the difference to you. Performing the functions of police, Commissioner of Police, happens. I performed the function of Commissioner of Police on, I think I recall, 2 occasions. Other senior officers have done so. I was the second senior man in the force when Green was there. He had to proceed off the job for can't remember the exact reasons, and I got my letter to perform the functions of the Commissioner of the Police in the absence of the Commissioner. It's a formality, because that allows you now to report to the minister, and they know that, well, the commissioners are there, so use a person who is performing those functions. You are performing the functions, right? Now, if you're going to act as Commissioner of Police, as in the case now of the man who is there, now he's just squatting the chair, you have to go through a constitutional process. Article 211, 1 and 2 tells us what has to happen to promote a person to commissioner and to deputy commissioner, and for them people to act in those positions. And it says, let me remind you, Article 211, that it requires the president makes the appointment, but he has to consult with the opposition leader, meaningful consultation with the opposition leader. He also has to consult, that's the president, also has to consult with the chairman of the Police Service Commission, who forced us to consult with the other members of the Police Service Commission. In the absence of that process, the person is not acting. The person is merely performing the functions of, as I've said, that has been done. I did it on at least 2. I know other officers who did it. And that was during the tenure of the PPP administration. It happened. The records are there. It happened. So for Nandinal to be making a big nice over this thing now, he's just being disingenuous. And let me go on to say, and I'm going to show you the letter in a short while. I say, as a result, and again, these things are easy to check, as a result of not being appointed to act as Commissioner of Police, Api never wore the badge of rank of Commissioner of Police. For the 17 months or something like that, he sat there. He never wore the badge of rank. He continued to wear the badge of rank of his substantive position, which is Deputy Commissioner of Police. And correctly so, he did that until he demitted office. Api never wore the badge of rank of Commissioner of Police. Ask Api, check the records. So how can you say that the coalition made him act? And more than that, I say, as I said, it was the established practice for decades when the PPP was in office. I carried out the functions on more than one occasions, right? I carry out. Other people as well did the same, right? Now, let me put up this letter that this man talking about, and then so we can, I can address this issue a little bit more. Look, this is a letter that, and they publish this letter in Chronicle to say that this is the coalition breaching the Constitution and causing Api to act. Look what the letter, first of all, let me point out to you that as can be seen, this letter is dated the 30th of July 30, 2020. And it says, if you can see the reading, it authorizes Leslie James, the Commissioner of Police, to proceed on 274 days pre-retirement leave from the 31st of July 2020. That's the very next day, 31st of July. And let me bring to your attention immediately, the only time Api name is mentioned in this letter is when they're telling James, the PS telling James that Api will perform the functions of commissioner. Look at it for yourself. Look at it. And this is a letter that the Chronicle published. I see got a code stamp and everything. So using this as an exhibit, I guess, in the Hicken case, right? Well, look at it. Let me leave it for you to read. I mean, the writing is a little fine, but read it. The letter is signed by the PS, and it is copied to the Police Service Commission, the Auditor General, and the Accountant General. It is not addressed to Api. It is not copied to Api. So how can you say, and it mentioned nothing about acting. This letter says nothing about acting. It says nothing about acting. But I'm going to leave it up while I continue to talk. I'm going to leave it up. And timeline, folks, my student, my diligent students, look at the timeline. This is the 30th of July. This letter is dated. James, according to this letter, on the 30th of July was a Thursday. The next day, the Friday, the 31st, James is proceeding on leave. And what happened on the 2nd of August? Y'all remember what happened on the 2nd of August? The 2nd of August, the president was sworn in. The same Anil Nandalal was sworn in as Attorney General on the 2nd. So, letter dated the 30th of July. James gone and leave on the 31st of July, the next day. And then the next day is the Saturday. And then the Sunday, the president is sworn in. So, what consultation, what this man is talking about? What is he talking about? So, I ask the question, so when this consultation, let's assume that they wanted to appoint Api as the acting commissioner of police. When this consultation was to be done, when the same Sunday when the president, a new government is actually sworn in, huh? That is when you want this consultation done again. letter dated the 30th of July. Happy gone, jail's gonna leave on the 31st, Friday the 31st. Saturday, the 4th of July, 4th of August, sorry. Then you get the next day is Sunday, the 2nd of August 2020. The president is sworn in as the Arthur Town Convention Center. So what is this fella talking about? And that is why I say I live in this man head rent-free, and it's not a nice place. I see the things that affect him, his thinking. But let me go on. I'm going to leave this letter up there for a little while longer. As I said, the letter was addressed to James and copied to those persons, right? The Appy never, and let me say this, Appy never ever received any letter to say that he is acting commissioner of police. Never. Appy was never given any letter. So I don't know where you get this thing from. I don't know where the Attorney General got this thing from. But let me go on some more. I know CC waiting to bat, but I got to point out these things to y'all, man. I got to point out this nonsense with the Attorney General, Mr. Moabir Anil Nandalal, SC, MP, is saying. Now, let me go further. You know, I like this thing, you know, I like my research. I like research. Since when I was going to university, when I got to research your papers and so on, I revel in that. I love that. And I did my research for this one. And this is fresh information. This is over the past 2-3 years. So you don't have to dig that deep. We haven't to dig that deep. Let me tell you what go on to say. Then remember, the president sworn in on the 2nd of August 2020. Parliament was convened in September 2020, right? And Mr. Joe Armand, Lieutenant Colonel retired Joe Armand, became the leader of the opposition. At that time, when Mr. Armand became the leader of the opposition in September of 2020, I was the chairman of the Police Service Commission. So you had a leader of the opposition from September 2020 and a chairman of the Police Service Commission. I said the Police Service Commission remained in place until June the 16th, 2021, when it was unlawfully suspended by the president. Remember, March 21st this year, Justice Gino Prasad ruled that the suspension, and I get it here, you know, the suspension was unlawful, ultra-virus Article 225 of the Constitution, arbitrary, unreasonable, unfair, in violation of the suspended chairman and other commissioners' constitutional rights to the protection of the law and due process of law, null, void, and of no legal effect. Let me move on. Joe Armand remained the leader of the opposition until he resigned in January 2022. Again, Joe Armand remained from September 2020. Joe Armand remained the leader of the opposition until he resigned in January 2022. Right? Then it means, therefore, that between the time when Mr. Armand became the leader of the opposition in September 2020 and the unlawful suspension of the Police Service Commission in June 2021, June 16 to be exact, 2021, there was a period of about 9 months when this president, Irfan Ali, could have initiated constitutional steps to appoint Appy either as acting or substantive commissioner of police. What the Attorney General must explain is why that was not done. He recognized that the APNU, AFC government did not consult in a one-day period in the Saturday before the president's swearing. One day, then consult another day. But they had about 9 months between the time when Mr. Armand became leader of the opposition and when they unlawfully suspended the Police Service Commission on the 16th of June 2021. And what they did, absolutely nothing. So the Attorney General should answer that question. Now let me go on. And I said the government waited until Appy proceeded on pre-retirement leave on Sunday, the 27th of March, 2022, this last year. And then they appointed Ikin as acting commissioner of police without the required constitutionally mandated consultations. They are the ones who did not consult. And then the government claimed that at the time of the appointment of Ikin, there was no leader of the opposition And because of the importance of the office of Commissioner of Police, it was necessary for make the appointment. If you recall, that appointment was challenged, and the CJ deemed the appointment lawful, stating that at the time of the appointment, there was no leader of the opposition to consult. And that decision is challenged. The decision of the Chief Justice has been appealed. But let me go on further. Let me go on further. The other question that the Attorney General should answer is, if the office of the Commissioner of Police is so important, why the government did not appoint Api as acting or substantive Commissioner of Police between September 2020 and June 2021, when the constitutionally appointed bodies, that is the leader of the opposition and the chairman of the Police Service Commission, were in place. And therefore, Article 211 of the Constitution could have been complied with. Let us say perhaps the office only became important when Api went into pre-retirement leave. And let me say further, in 2018, when President Granger wanted to appoint the Commissioner of Police and Deputy Commissioner of Police, he held consultation with the opposition leader, Mr. Barra Jagdeo. In that meeting, you had Mr. Barrett for representing the opposition, you had Mr. Barra Jagdeo, you had Ms. Gail Teixeira, and you had Mr. Irfan Ali. They were part of that consultation. He also held consultation with me as chairman of the Police Service Commission at separate time. I'm not sure if it's after or before, but a separate consultation. And I had already consulted with members of the other members of the Police Service Commission, and we made recommendations. So I don't know what the Attorney General is talking about. He ran to this newspaper, the Chronicle. He didn't go to the newspaper. Let me be correct. Gone to the newspaper. They pulled it up off of his Facebook page, and they wrote this article. Some staff reporter wrote this article. So those are the facts. Those are the facts, and facts are stubborn things. Again, I say, look at the timeline. Again, I emphasize, Api was never made acting Commissioner of Police. Never, ever made acting Commissioner of Police. As a matter of fact, for the duration, about 17 months that Api carried out the functions, he continued to wear the badge of rank of Deputy Commissioner of Police. Akin is acting, so he is wearing the badge of rank of the Commissioner of Police, even though he put him on rank in the first instance. Even though he prematurely wore it, and he had the decorations in the wrong order. Right? So let me understand. Well, let me bring in CC, and then I can come back to y'all, man. CC, what is your take on this constitutional atrocity that the Attorney General is talking about?
Like you, Paul, I hold no brief for APNU or anybody in this matter. I have my own personal views, and I've been expressing my views on law enforcement for a number of years. Even when the APNU was in government, I was critical in certain things that they did. Now, Paul, a couple sessions ago, you mentioned about dog whistle. I read the Chronicle. I also read Facebook page on Nanlal. And there was a dog whistle because he said that the media should take it up. And lo and behold, the Saturday was the article from the Chronicle dog whistle. Now, the thing is that the Constitution is clear. And the Constitution is specific. The law has got to be specific. The Constitution talk about acting commissioner or acting deputy commissioner. It doesn't talk about the person who's performing the duties of the commissioner. And as you rightly mentioned, I remember a couple of times you held on a bit there, although you didn't buy any drinks or that. But the thing is that it talk about the acting commissioner, and it said that there must be consultation, meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition and the chairman of the Police Service Commission, who would have consulted with other members. And the letter is clear. That letter, according to what the attorney said, is that the PS appointed. The PS can't appoint nobody. And the letter talk about Happy will perform the duties. I saw the letter. For the matter, I can tell tales of the school. Happy showed me a copy of the letter. And Happy was never, never, never acting as commissioner. As you rightly say, he wore the badge rank of a deputy commissioner. And about 100 times in my oral and written presentation, I always refer to Happy as the man who's performing the duties of commissioner, not acting. He didn't act. And thing to note also is that for the how much months Happy was there, he never received a cent as an acting commissioner. You know, when you're acting in certain position, you're entitled to monetary awards on your salary. Happy never received a cent as acting commissioner of police. Never ever. And some of those who are masquerading understand they're getting acting allowance, understand they're getting also a responsibility allowance. Some of the masqueraders, Happy never received any responsibility allowance or acting allowance. And then the thing is, if Nandalala discovered that, he didn't challenge it. He's quick to get off the block. Perhaps faster than Ben Johnson. Quick to get off the block in illegal letters. He has not challenged. Why are you waiting now and erase it? Perhaps it might be a case of misbehavior in public office. Because you're there, it is your constitutional role. You found that the Constitution was breached. You found that there was a blatant violation of the letter, spirit, and intent of some of the most sacrosanct constitutional procedure in democratic countries. President and prime ministers have been impeached for fireless. Those are the words of Nanlal in the Calvin Duncan matter. So perhaps they're coming back to haunt him. He discovered it, and he has done absolutely nothing but it. But now he, for some strange reasons, maybe he must wake up on the other side of the bed, or maybe his keyboard malfunction when he took typed that thing on his Facebook. So the whole thing is that Happy was never ever appointed an acting commissioner of police. The letter from the permanent secretary said that he was performing the functions of the commissioner of police. Over to you, Paul.
Yeah, and how more often can we tell this to these people? And as you rightly said, Trump, you said you had a dog whistle, and following the dog whistle, Chronicle run and they publish. But if they could have done the research, they should have done. This staff writer could have done the research and see that what the attorney general is saying is not correct. They could have seen it, and you could have, just like how I did the timeline. You could have looked at the timeline and to see. Again, I say the letter is dated the 30th. Let me put it up back. Let me put up back this letter. The letter and the card. This is what I think not they're basing the argument on. Because this letter is carried in the chronicle, in the article, carries the letter dated the 30th of July. The letter is dated the 30th of July. And it says that, and it is addressed to Leslie James, DSS, DSM. Not to Happy, to Leslie James, to tell him that permission has been granted for him to go on 274 days leave from the 31st day of July 2020. And you could see to whom the letter was copied. Not to Happy, which I've always said is wrong. Because if Happy has to carry out the functions, then he ought to have been written to tell him that he cannot the function. I was written to when I had to carry out the functions. So Happy really stayed in there by word of mouth. Happy stayed in there by word of mouth. Poor chap. No wonder if he ain't got no money, he ain't got no money. Poor chap. So then, as I said, James went on leave Friday, the 31st of July. The next day, Saturday. the 1st of August. The following day, Sunday, the 2nd of August, President sworn in. Nandalal sworn in. So at what stage? Let me assume for argument's sake that you wanted to make API, the coalition government wanted to make API acting commissioner of police. Because you couldn't have promoted commissioner because James was still the commissioner on pre-retirement leave. So the protocol is you have to wait until James demitted office, which he did. I think it was on the 1st of April or 1st of May 2021. Right? You have to wait until then. So he could have been made acting. So what consultation you're talking about, AG? Tell us. Pray. Tell us what consultation, when this consultation was to be done. If this man went and leave the Friday and the government changed the Sunday. Where, when, how? And if you're talking so much about this consultation, as the colleague pointed out, you observe this constitutional atrocity. You, as the Attorney General, observe this constitutional atrocity. Why did you not fix it? You're the opposition leader from September 2020 in the person of Mr. Joe Armon. You had a police service commission in place. I was the chairman of that police service commission. Why did you not advise the president to initiate the process to appoint API either as acting commissioner or commissioner, well, once James left as commissioner, acting in the first instance? Why did you not do that? And as CC said, there might be dereliction of duty. Why did you not? You had about 9 months. You had about 9 months. And you did not do anything. Now you jump on the thing. As a man who brought the thing to my attention said, maybe the Attorney General, the drunk when that's what the person said. I'm not saying, I don't know if he was drunk, but the person telling me, the person who brought it to my attention, that maybe the Attorney General was drunk when he made this post on Facebook. And the Chronicle, as CC said, you get the dog whistle, the Chronicle, rather than doing some research, because they're saying this thing posted on his Facebook page the Friday night, that's what they say. And the very next day, so they didn't take no research, they took his word as on face value, and you see what happened? You see what has happened? And let me tell you something, the dishonesty and the unprofessionalism in these people, nobody can come now and retract what they wrote. To say, well, they made a mistake. Nobody will do that, none. And that is why I say it is important that we use programs like these. It is important that we use programs like these to let people know what the facts are. And I will continue to do so. I will continue to call them out. Every opportunity that I get, I will continue to call them out. I will continue to do so. Their point, Ikin. And then again, I think this is in response to the challenge brought to Ikin's extension. And I know CCU wrote something recently about that. And maybe you can tell our audience, tell our students something more about that extension that you wrote about.
The Attorney General mentioned an act, I think it's 2712 or thereabout, which said that the president can extend the service of a commissioner of police after consultation with the chairman of the Police Service Commission and after the Prime Minister has concurred. That act was 2 years prior to the Constitution. And you got to remember that the Constitution is the supreme law. Any other law that collides as that law, they collided with the Constitution, has got to be fatal, like what happened on our roads. Whether they want to call it a fatal incident or a fatal accident. That the Constitution is the supreme law. And the Constitution never mentioned anything about extension of a commissioner of police. Nothing in the talk about an appointment commissioner or acting appointment. Perhaps the framers of the Constitution did not contemplate that a time would have come when an assistant commissioner of police services would have been extended as an acting commissioner of police. So that law has collided, fatally collided with the Constitution. And then also the Constitution said, you can't get away from that every commissioner or deputy commissioner will be appointed by the president after meaningful consultation with the leader of the opposition. And in Hickens' extension, the leader of the opposition was not consulted. And the law speaks of what should happen. They want to go with what will happen. What is meaningful consultation? What is meaningful consultation? So the whole thing is wrong. And what Nanlal did, he quoted a part of the law which appeared to be favorable with him, but the other parts he didn't mention it, which also saying that the service should be extended before the man has reached 55 years of age. It is clear before 55 years of age he must be, and you can't extend something that has already expired. He cannot already reach 55, and after he can reach 55, then you're going to say that you extended it. And I won't be surprised because I have no confidence in the chairman of the Police Service Commission. I will always remember the bishop, and we don't have good dealings with bishops. Where the bishop said on the 4th of July last year that he was awaiting the recommendations from the Commission of Police for persons to be appointed, promoted, and on the second, 250 something odd persons were promoted by the Police Service Commission. They couldn't do any due diligence. Therefore, you had at least three senior superintendents who had disciplinary matters, serious disciplinary matters pending, who were promoted. You had a senior superintendent who had disciplinary matters promoted. You had an assistant superintendent who had disciplinary matters promoted. You had an inspector who had disciplinary matters promoted. You had serious supersessions. You had persons who didn't pass the promotion exam promoted. And a whole load of irregularities took place. So I won't be surprised if the doctor records, and I also remember the Prime Minister purportedly signed an affidavit, which I saw, which was a part of a court document, stating that you, Paul, didn't have any meeting with the president when there is when you said that there was a meeting, and also the government released that there is a meeting. So I won't be surprised if they hustle and they backdate things, if they're going to cut the records to show that meeting take place, to show that they had meaningful consultation with the president. So I'd be surprised if they commit perjury to show that things was done. So the whole thing really is Hickens' extension is illegal, and I'm happy that the leader of the opposition has challenged it through the girl Carol Joseph, and I don't want this matter to be dealt with at the High Court. It must go all the way to the CCJ. It is crying out for judicial review, and they're picking the fruits of the poisonous tree. What Nanal is doing is nibbling around the edges of the Constitution. Nibbling around the edges of the Constitution. The Constitution is clear in terms of the appointment of commissioner and deputy commissioner, and it has nothing to do with extension. There's an old law that, as I mentioned, that has collided fatally with the Constitution, and it has to bow down to the Constitution and say, mea culpa, mea culpa.
Well said. They say in a statement here, let me read it. The same part, they say, Paul Slow and Clinton Conway write excessively in the newspapers on legal issues concerning the police force. I said, but today they have not uttered a word about this horrible constitutional atrocity. Now, I don't know that I write about legal issues concerning the police force. I know I write about issues concerning the police force. I recall, and let me remind the Attorney General that one of the issues that we raised on this program, CC raised it, was the Police Service Commission, whether it was properly constituted. I remember they swore in the Police Service Commission, the chairman, and at the time they did not have the chairman of the Public Service Commission. And the Constitution says that the Public Service Commission chairman is a member of the Police Service Commission. So we pointed out to them that in the absence of the chairman of the Public Service Commission, the Police Service Commission could not have been fully constituted according to the commission. Nonetheless, jump again. I think it's the same chronicle. And he said, oh, we talking rubbish. God, I think Senior Counsel Ford said something up to the same effect on what we said. Nonetheless, Senior Counsel Ford followed Conway and Slow and no legal, all sort of crap he talked. The matter went to court, and the Chief Justice agreed that in the absence of the chairman of the Public Service Commission, the Police Service Commission was not properly and fully constituted. And she so ordered, that was in August, I think, last year. And then she went on to say she used the de facto doctrine to save the promotions that they had made, but then they could not have done anything else. And notwithstanding that, the chairman was going around meeting with people as chairman of the Police Service Commission. They were writing to officers about disciplinary matters and so on. And they had to be threatened with contempt actions, and then they draw back. So yes, we have commented on legal issues, and our comments have been proven to be correct. So I don't know what you're saying. And let me tell you this. The lawyers who are challenging this illegal extension should listen to this thing with the deadline, the dateline, and so on. I promise I'm going to write about it too, so y'all get some resources to go on with this nonsense. Because as I've said, this letter that appeared in Chronicle on Saturday, it appears to me that that is going to be used as an exhibit in this matter. And therefore, I want y'all get all the ducks lined up to kick it down the place. I want y'all get all the ducks lined up. And before I'm looking at, you made the point about the commission, us into backdate and forge. I am almost certain, Skip Roberts dead. But you want a detective like Skip Roberts and Alvin Smith and them men, because they're going to get it out, and based on the fact that we talk, and they're going also to doctor the chairman, because as you rightly pointed out, this old law that they seem to be relying on speaks about a role for the Police Service Commission before the man reached the age of retirement. So now you could imagine them now, because they got a secretary there who has been proven to be dishonest. And I'm saying it because I get the affidavit that he swore to and told a lot of lies. And then the Prime Minister too, who according to this old law again, and this is a law that predates the Constitution, he too can tell some lies, because he has done so. And you said purported or not purported, the Attorney General, the Prime Minister, Mark Phillips, swore to an affidavit to say that the meeting that I said I had with the President on the 16th of September 2020 never took place. I have the affidavit that he swore to. He swore to an affidavit, the Prime Minister, to say that. And the very president, the government acknowledged, the President acknowledged on the night of the 31st, I think of May, or when, 31st, I get all the documents, that the meeting took place. He acknowledged it 3 times in the same letter, in the same release, that the meeting took place. But he said, well, look, the meeting was not to influence the Police Service Commission into promoting people. That is a statement from the President, and the Prime Minister is saying that this meeting never took place in an affidavit. And if you don't know what is an affidavit is a legal document, and I've been advised that once you swear to something in an affidavit, which is a lie, is a criminal act, it's forgery. You committed perjury, Prime Minister. I am alleging that you committed perjury. I am so alleging, because the evidence is there. The evidence is there. I said that the President summoned, arranged, a conscious summon, arranged for me to meet with him on the 16th of September in the afternoon. And I met with him in the office of the president, and he wanted some people promoted. That did not take place. Right? I said so. When I held a press conference afterwards, after they also bring prompt up charges, and I mentioned this thing, the very night of the press conference, the office of the president, I have the letter and everything, he released a statement acknowledging that the meeting took place. Among the things he said is when he had just come to office and he wanted a feel of what was going on in the commissions and all of that, and that was the purpose of the meeting. Of course, he denied that he ever tried to influence the promotion of ranks and so on. The president admitted that in a press release, and Mark Phillips swore to an affidavit to say that this meeting never took place. So I don't put it beyond him well, poor boy, they're going to make you sign something. I am putting it beyond them to make him sign something. As I've said, in the same matter, the secretary to the Police Service Commission, Jai Gobian Jai Singh, swore to an affidavit, and he said, oh, I put in name for people to be promoted, and me and Conway did this. And then he said about, the man made some outrageous statement that all the years he has been in the commission wants recommendations. Recommendations, this is what these people are saying, are made by the police admin, or the Police Service Commission. Basically what they're saying, just rubber stamp this thing. Never happened. There has never been a case where the police force has made recommendation to the Police Service Commission and all of those recommendations were approved. None, never. There's never been such a case. And I remind them that in the case of, they get a recent case where a senior police officer challenged his denial of promotion. And he was able to prove that at the time when he was denied promotion, he was recommended by the administration. And they did not promote him. They promoted others, right, who were not recommended. They didn't have the evidence. And then, you know what was the excuse? They said, well, he was close to retirement. And that is why he was not considered for promotion. That is what they said. And then the man did the research and showed them that 2 senior superintendents were on pre-retirement leave when they were promoted to assistant commissioner. The man mentioned the name and all sort of thing. 2 senior superintendents were on pre-retirement leave when they were promoted to assistant commissioner. That's the research. I know what's the outcome of that matter. The outcome of the matter, of course, the man challenged it in court, challenged his denial in court, and the Attorney General's chamber chucked in. You know what I mean by that? They did not contest the matter. When they were faced with the evidence, they did not contest the matter. I don't even know if the guy got the payment, all his payment is yet, because the court made some order for them to calculate his pension and his gratuity at the higher rank. And I don't think he has gotten the money. But the good thing is I think the court did say, talk about interest being paid to him until such time that he gets his money. So they come with all kind of crap. But I'm making the point, these are not the days when you have monopoly of the news. You can come on Chronicle, you can go on NCN, and you could spew a lot of lies, right? I am going to use this platform and other platforms because people have been inviting me to speak on issues. I will continue to accept those invitations and to bear the facts. To bear the facts. And again, I challenge them. Anything I have said on this program, either today or previously, come out and challenge it. Come out and bring the evidence to prove that Nigel Appy acted as commissioner of police. The man acted, the man never even wear, the man continued to wear his deputy commissioner rank all the time. He continued to wear the deputy commissioner rank all the time. As I said, it can get acting. The question about the legality is still up. But this, from the even before the thing was effective, he was wearing the badge rank. Because once you're acting, you're entitled to wear the badge rank. But I've said in Appy's case, he never wore it because he was never acting. Again, he was carrying out the functions. And you know, in the ruling, I think that's where Nandalal was jumping up. But I said the matter is appeal because when the Chief Justice handed down the ruling in August of last year, I think it was, she did say that she did not see a distinction between acting and performing the functions of the commissioner. And I say, well, there's a glaring mistake by her, as we have pointed out. Acting is a constitutional process. You have to go through the constitutional process, Article 211, to act as commissioner or deputy commissioner. In the absence of that process, you're merely carrying out the functions, as I did and several others did in the past under the PAPP government. Under the PPP government. So let's understand this thing clearly. CC, let me bring you back in to if you have anything more to say on this.
Um, it's just that the landlord saying that we dealing with legal issues. It's not legal issues, you know. All something a basic what we call common sense, and the law is clear. The law is specific. But then again, common sense isn't commonplace and isn't common in everyone, including attorney generals.
You know, I have something on my Facebook page, and people have been commenting on it to ask if common sense will ever make a return, because it is clear that common sense has taken its leave, and we're asking if common sense will ever make a return. And again, I say we can't allow these things when these statements are made. We can't allow them to just go just like that. And you know, as I've said, we have said, look at the time. Look how much time we have spent already this morning. We have so many other things to talk about. And let me before I move on, let me acknowledge, because we have a lot of people who came on. A lot of people, a lot of people came on since we started the program. Keith is here, Mavis, the little one, Gwinnett, Janice, Carl, they're all here making comments. Carol, welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, Mark Phillips and get shame. You can only be shameful if you have shame. All of these people are here making their comments. People are saying how much they are the research, and really, of course, Marlon is saying reporters are lazy, they don't do any research. But these things are so easy to find. These things are easy to find. Then you have George saying they are hesitant and fearful of to expose wrongdoings of this administration. That is them. That is them. And Court is saying the great program. He's enjoying the program. Yeah, we will continue to bring you the news. But let me say this as we look what Deborah is saying here now. Deborah is saying we need 3 days because she's learning a lot. Deborah is saying she need 3. You know, we had asked you guys, we had said that we were considering doing at least 2 days a week, Wednesday and some other day, because we have so many things to talk about. And we don't want to rush it. We want to give you the fullness of these subjects. We don't want to rush it. And I think the consensus is that we should seek to do another program on Mondays. That is the consensus, that we should do another program on Mondays. Now we have discussed it, and we're still toying with the Monday thing. We're still toying with the Monday because here we are, 1 hour and 40 minutes into this program. And what we have here now, we haven't even touched on traffic. We haven't even touched on some other stuff. These terrible accidents that we have had. We haven't touched on the carnage on the road. That in itself is a program. So what we will do, folks, Navin just said very informative. What Petel is saying, here, that this 1 day a week need more days. And then the little one, you gotta inbox me. You want to know how we can make a donation. And we have not accepted donations and so on. But you can inbox me, and we can talk about that. So the answer, facts are stubborn things. So much information, so much to learn. Please add another day. But let me announce here now. Let me announce there now that we have decided that Monday coming, Monday, think Monday, whatever day it is, Monday coming, we are going to have another program at 11 o'clock. Monday coming. So you stop molesting me. Stop molesting me. We are going to have another program Monday coming. Now, let me make it clear We have not decided as yet whether it's going to be every Monday going forward. But Monday coming, we are going to have another program. And I say this because when we look at the schedule, we have, these trumped up charges against us are set to commence later this month. And the magistrate did set a whole set of Mondays, like about 10, well, about a whole month, a month and a half of Mondays to conduct the trial. So we're not going to be available all the Mondays. So what we're going to do is that Monday coming at 11 o'clock, we are going to have a program, let's call it a special program, to deal with some of the issues that we could not have dealt with today. And one of those things that we'll deal with is the carnage on the road. And again, I encourage you to subscribe to the YouTube channel or the Facebook channel, Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Like that program, and you're going to get the notification when we go live. Facebook advised me a couple of days ago that about 3,000 persons have so far liked the Speaking Out on the Facebook. So please go there and continue to help to make this program as popular as it has become. And some people are saying that that is why they don't like this program. Too much facts. Too much facts. All you can say, great news for this Monday coming. Great news. Right? So, yeah, we're going to come to you on Monday. And all the things, because we don't want to rush. We don't want to rush the stuff. I said we already are 1.75 into this program. And if I'm to attempt to go into the traffic thing now, we're going to rush it. We don't want that. We don't want that. So, and again, what we're going to do, as we have been doing, we're going to have short clips of this program posted on YouTube and Facebook, so people can go and they can look at the short clips dealing with, and I'm going to say short, they allow you up to 20 minutes. So even though this program is sometimes 2 hours, we can pass it out and give it to you so that you can look at specific aspects of the program. So that is what we're going to do. But let me bring in my colleague for his closing remarks, and then we're going to move on. CC, your closing remarks.
Yeah, as you mentioned, we have yielded to the request of persons, and then coming Monday, the special program on traffic. And please, traffic is getting, I cannot find words to describe. In my coming up days, we used to use a word, we used to say this maybe it's a westeros. And I wish to urge people, please pay some more attention to the road. And I wish to urge, although we can deal with traffic extensively, that the divisional commanders, please don't leave everything on the traffic chief. Please, the divisional commanders, please get actively involved in the traffic situation. That's all I need to say.
Put up the comment here. Don is saying that maybe when it comes to the trial dates, we can do it in the evenings or some other time. There's a consideration. So thanks to that suggestion, we're going to take it on board, because even we have cases, I think most of the matters are some at 1 o'clock, some at 10 o'clock. And I guess by sometime in the afternoon it's going to be over. I know we don't want to clash with other programs, so we have to see a slot that will not clash with some of the more established programs. We don't want to have you jumping between the two channels and so on. So, folks, as my colleague has pointed out, you got to be safe. I have been telling you this all along. Try to be safe. The roads in Guyana are dangerous. I saw a clip. I have it here, but I'm not going to show it now because, as I've said, perhaps I should show you it, and we're going to deal with it more. We're going to deal with it on Monday. But let's just show, this is one of the things that we want to show you. This is what is going on. Accident yesterday on the quarantine where a motorcycle, they're saying, overtook a car straight into the path of a truck. The motorcycle burst into flames and the rider died. So you have to be extremely careful on the road. And again, I want to tell you too that dengue fever or dengue is very much in Guyana. Several persons have communicated with me that I know that dengue, they get dengue, admitted to hospital, and all of that. So you have to be safe. You have to be careful. You are responsible for your own safety. And, you know, as we have said, when we come on Monday, we're going to deal with the traffic situation. But having said that, you know what has been happening? That we plan to deal with one subject, but so many things happen during the week that we have got to adjust. Are we going to adjust? Because we didn't get to tell you today about this appeal court decision yesterday with the libel suit against the opposition leader. We did not get to talk about the Madhya Commission of Inquiry. And a statement made yesterday by Juan Egil about the increase in road fatalities. We don't get to talk about these things. So Monday, hopefully when we come, we are going to be able to address those issues. So for now, folks, until Monday, I almost said Wednesday, until Monday at 11 o'clock, we have a date for another episode of Speaking Out, exposing corruption and incompetence. Until then, be safe. Bye.